Video games have become a dominant part of today's culture. In fact, it's really difficult these days to find any household that doesn't have at least one form of video game console, and many of them have multiple versions. So over the years, we've seen the rise of several successful gaming series, including Call of Duty, Halo, and Final Fantasy. But there's one game series that started long ago that not only revolutionized its genre and laid the foundation for many successful titles to come, but it's still going strong today. And that series is the Legend of Zelda franchise. Now, anybody who knows me knows that I'm a pretty hardcore fan of this series. Some people might even say ridiculously so. So my opinions on the matter might be somewhat biased. But that being said, one only needs to look at its history and critical reception, and there can be no denying its greatness. In an interview for the Hyrule Historia, game designer Shigeru Miyamoto has stated that the game came about while they were working on a compilation for Super Mario Bros., while at the same time needing to develop a game for the disk system, which was a peripheral system for the original Nintendo console that was never released in the Americas. But after experimenting with the system's ability to rewrite data and tossing in some random ideas as they went, the first Zelda game was born. And since then, there have been 17 official video games released in this series, as well as several spin-offs that have seen a significant amount of success as well. The games typically follow the character of Link, a silent green-clad swordsman, and his exploits as he wanders the land, battling evil and trying to ultimately rescue the Princess Zelda in an action-adventure setting. While doing so, he needs to travel around and solve fancy puzzles in ancient dungeons and ultimately fight the giant monster in each. Now, there have been several games over the years that have imitated this formula and have seen great success with it, but without fail, they are inevitably compared to the Legend of Zelda series because it is one of Nintendo's most successful and most prominent franchises. And the first game was released in 1986, and since then, having recently celebrated its 25th anniversary, it holds the title by Guinness in Guinness World Records as the longest running action-adventure series of all time. But the cool thing is that that's not the only record that this series can claim. Several titles in the series have received multiple 10 out of 10 ratings by several well-known and well-respected video game groups, including IGN, GameSpot, and Famitsu, making it one of the very few titles to have multiple perfect scores across several different games. And in 1998, Nintendo released The Legend of Zelda: Ocarina of Time, which was the first Zelda game released for the Nintendo 64, as well as the first game in the series to be developed in a 3D environment. So it was a game of firsts, including being the first ever video game to receive a perfect 10 out of 10 score by those aforementioned gaming news groups. And it went on to hold Guinness's world record for being the greatest game of all time for 10 years in a row, until it was finally defeated one year by Super Mario Galaxy. So the games themselves are widely considered to be masterpieces in the industry. But their impact doesn't stop there. The series also has had a phenomenal cultural impact as well. And over the years, there have been many various types of paraphernalia developed based on this series, including posters, clothing, instruments, even my personal favorite, swords and shields. And as you can see, I have shamelessly collected my fair share of each. But it goes even further than that, because the music in this series itself is also widely celebrated, and in 2012 a concert symphony went on tour dedicated to playing music from this series, and was the first ever concert symphony that featured a full four movements. Wow, that was a tongue twister. And it was so popular and so successful that after its tour was completed, it returned again the following year for a repeat. And I went both times. It was was awesome. In fact, the series has become so widely popular, it's received such critical acclaim, that Robin Williams himself has nicknamed his own, named his own daughter after the Princess Zelda, and was recently featured in a video game commercial advertising the Ocarina of Time remake for the 3DS, which I have here.
The first time I saw you, I knew we'd be linked forever. For you, I traveled to the four corners of the world. I faced adversity. I became a hero.
Dad.
I saved your kingdom.
Dad.
Yes, Zelda?
Are you mixing me up with the princess again?
Hard to say. You're both pretty magical.
So, fan after my own heart right there. I first saw that commercial and it really hit home. Made me cry a little bit. So, the Legend of Zelda series is an awesome video game series, and anybody who has not had the opportunity to experience it, I would highly recommend that they do so. And anybody who would like to learn more about the chronological and history of the series can read about it in the Hyrule Historia, which is the official chronological guide that was released in celebration for the series' 25th anniversary.